So, brake calipers and not returning. This feels rough, and you can see it's not returning all the way. So it returns to there, but if you push it, it returns a little further. So, and you can see it's very jagged. So it feels like there's sand in there. So this is quite a common problem on disc brakes. So it's quite involved getting into this, but I'll show you what we can do here. Anyway, start with taking the brake pads out. There's one. And the other one. Oops. Comes out like that. So that came out of there. And that brake pad sits on there. Quite often you get a bunch of buildup on here which can cause brakes to adjust roughly, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, there's the two brake pads. So this still has a problem even though those are now removed. So if you look inside there, that moves up and down, but it's not moving freely. So there's a big ring in there, which is, if you don't have a proper tool, which I don't, is very hard to get out. But it'll basically just unscrew. But this can be a problem. Should work. You can see it's unscrewing. Okay, we got that out. So you can see there's little notches in there that you can actually fit a screwdriver into to help unscrew that. So that's that one. Now in here will be the large spring, which may or may not come out easily. There we go, got the spring out. So now, what we've got in there is the little, this is what actually raises the brake. It's full of some grease in there. There's a notch here that there's a little pin that sits in there that keeps this from turning when you turn the other one. So I'll put that aside for now. In here's the bottom one. We'll get that one Actually, that one's held in place by this retainer. So we take that off, take that off. Now this will come out. Oh, that little retainer is still in there, that little pin. Don't lose that little pin because it's what holds the brakes in line. That's the little pin there. And that pin is what sits in that groove right there. So now this should just come out. There we go. That's the bottom half of this piece. So you can see when these mate together like that, and you turn it, that's what actually applies your brakes. When you turn this one, and those 3 ball bearings raise it up. So that's how that all works. So we'll have to clean that up and re-grease it. Down in here is the 20 bearing cage. And that's got to come out. Because usually this is what's gummed up. There it is there. There's the thin washer right here that goes on the bottom, sits against the outside. So we'll clean that up. So that's just a washer. It sits against the bottom. This is a 20 ball bearing cage. And that looks pretty gummed up. And it looks like there's some broken bearings in there, so we will just clean that up a little bit. I used a little bit of lacquer thinner. Just put it in there and give it a wash. Yeah, the bearings are falling out all over the place because they're broken. You can see that's still pretty gummed up in there. There's not very many bearings left in there. And whether they're good or not is another story, so we'll have to get those cleaned out. Let's see, where can I put these? Let's clean this out. Okay, there's one bearing out. Okay, these ones look okay because they don't come out easy, so that means they're probably intact. There's another half bearing there. So it looks like we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 good bearings. All the rest in here are flat or crushed or crumbled or whatever. Let's see if I can get these out. Yeah, those ones are half ones. These ones aren't even shiny anymore. Is that maybe one good bearing there? No, it's coarse on one side, so that's no good either. Anyway, there is the crushed bearing problem. I have a brand new one here, replacement, and this has a good bearing cage in it. So what we're going to do is, see a nice movement on that? It's nice and fresh. So we'll take these ones out, put them in that one. Because I don't know if you noticed, but one's a left hand, one's a right hand. So this is off a pony off the left hand trailing arm. And there's what the ball cage is supposed to look like. So we're going to use that in this one. That washer would go in first. So now we've got a new ball cage in there. I can clean these up and put them back in. The 3 ball bearings. Okay, so these are pretty clean. Put some lithium grease in here. Move a seat. Ball bearings in there. Now that gets dropped down the side of there. If you have a UNF bolt, that will screw into that. That's fine. Okay, what we're going to do, this is the one that fits in the bottom first. So put that through. Fasten that onto there. We can lower it down into place. There we go. Now, this one goes on top. There's the 3 ball bearings. And to help lower this into place, I can use the same bolt that I've got here. And that notch there lines up with that notch there. So it has to go in this way. Goes down and seats on there. Now can we get the bolt out? There we go. Now it's a matter of getting this pin, this locking pin, in place. There, locking pin is in place in there. So when you turn the bottom on, it'll hold the top one from turning. So now we can put the spring in. There we go. Now we can put the spring retainer in. It's easy to start. But you want to get that down so it's flush with the bottom part where the brake pad arm sticks out. So that has to go down to there. So here we go, trying to put this back in now. Okay, you can see that's pretty well flush. That should work. So if we actually take our arm, put it on, you can see the arm moves freely now. That feels really nice. So we'll put this back together. Look how nice that moves now. Bottom one side brake adjuster in. So you want that to pop up into place to attach to the magnet inside. There we go. So there you go. And when you move the lever, that bottom brake adjuster moves in to squeeze the disc, and this moves freely now. And there you have it. That's how you, if you got the patience and the ability to repair or replace a ball cage. My idea is if I can get these tiny ball bearings from a manufacturer somewhere, I can actually rebuild these. Anyway, hopefully that helps out. Next time.